I'm so excited to share this show with you, wherein I interview conscious hip-hop artist SoulDog. I didn't really know what to expect as I nervously awaited meeting him on the day of the interview. However, I was pleasantly surprised to find him humble, centered, and wonderfully charismatic. In fact, the more the interview went on, the more I became inspired by his quest to awaken and activate people all over the world. His mission behind the music. It quickly became clear just how committed he was by doing whatever it took to accomplish the manifestation of his dreams. His youthful energy was contagious, and I quickly felt I was reconnecting with a long-lost friend. Surprisingly, I found him to be immensely funny with a razor-sharp wit. If there was ever sunshine in a bottle, he'd be a living testimony. What struck me the most, however, about him is just how much he actually reminded me of myself. So much more than just an artist, SoulDog is a pure humanist, committed to a revolution of love by giving whatever he has available to give, through music and otherwise. Humbly affirming to the world his own brilliance, SoulDog left a lasting impression on me. And my hope is that you use his story as fuel to fan your own fierce fire and be all that you can truly be. Welcome to the realm of SoulDog.
Step into a new realm. Welcome to Realms of Healing with your host, Akashic Intuitive, Gabriel llhewellyn-ari.
Hello, and welcome to Realms of Healing, where me, Gabriel llhewellyn-ari, am interviewing people, musicians, anyone who is doing something to help the planet, shift the consciousness in some way. And I'm so excited and delighted to be sharing yet another episode with you all again. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Today's episode I'm really excited about because I have with me here today a wonderful and powerful conscious hip-hop artist from the Bay Area named SoulDog.
Yeah.
SoulDog, welcome to Realms of Healing.
How we doing, Gabe? How we doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm really happy
good.
to have you here.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yes. I want to say that I was on Facebook and a friend of mine just shot me a link. They didn't even say what it is. They just messaged me a link. And I thought, okay, that's strange. And so I asked them about it, and they said, just check it out. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't spam. And so I checked it out. I clicked it, and I didn't even know what it was going to lead me to. I had no idea what it was going to be about. And this music video comes on. And it's called Life is a Blessing with this beautiful, beautiful background beats and these wonderful lyrics. And I just thought, wow, I really like this song.
Awesome.
And so then I questioned my friend, how can I hear more? I really like this artist, and long story, but now you're here and I'm interviewing you because
you made contact.
Because your song is the video. So I think we should play the song for people.
Yeah.
I think we should play Life is a Blessing, if that's okay with you.
Please.
Okay. So this is the song that we've been talking about, everyone. It's Life is a Blessing by SoulDog, and enjoy.
Yeah, life is a blessing. So you gotta pay attention. Life is a blessing. Check it. Yo, life is a blessing. So every day I try to pay attention to the lessons. Nature is reflected, roots are reconnected. When you look inside yourself, and the truth will be revealed with any hand that is dealt. Now can't you see what you see, the scenery around you? Nature provides the vibes to keep us down to a healthy mind state. No wait, the clouds have found you. Looking at those pearly gates, worship around too. Like those steps to all before you crawl, before those judgments, when that energy was raw. Question mankind, abide by nature's lie. I don't like the legal system, they got one too many flaws. Pardon me for running off my job, but these lyrics are raw like sunny days in the autumn of fall. I'm telling y'all to bring the pure light. Yeah, I know you heard right. Bringing cloudy days with some sunlight. Light up the mic and strike with ambition. Cruising down the road like bikes and transmissions. Lyrics that I write it for fans. I really listen. This is real hip hop, and I hit it with precision. Yeah, life is a blessing. Every day I try to pay attention to the lessons nature is reflecting. Life is a blessing. Now, verse 2, gotta take you out your element. No fights tonight, that's all irrelevant. You know that nature's got your soul's greatest benefits, and so I'm digging deep, deep in the sediment. Yeah, it's heaven sent, yeah, it's all good. We all got that inner being, got that Buddhahood. If you don't know this by now, then yeah, you probably should. It's the benefit for others, and for that I wish you would. But still, I gotta move on. When I head up out the hills, I gotta stay strong. Cause living in the city, there's so much they prey on. Everybody wants to live like the modern King Kong, and I'm frustrated when I'm working 9 to 5 and I just made it. And I see my people strive, but day by day, we take it in stride. Take a deep breath, it feels good to be alive. Any day life provides you with the challenge, so test your limits and commitments, find a balance. Basically, what this MC's requesting is that y'all count your blessings, cause life is a blessing. Life is a blessing. Life is a blessing.
Oh, I love that song.
Thanks,
I love
man.
that
Thanks.
song.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like the hook in that, it's like life is a blessing. So every day I try to pay attention to the lessons nature is reflecting. Life is a blessing. So like comes around full circle, but a lot of that song is really about like staying in tune with nature, and nature will provide. It has been forever. No matter how much humanity takes away from it, it's still pumping out.
It
So
is.
you ain't gonna stop me.
Right.
So, and also it gives us I feel it gives us the balance that we need, when people take that, week off of work every year and go camping, they get in touch with that and they wonder why they feel so good, and it's, it brings you, a nice harmony and balance, I feel like, with anyone who spends their time out there, and having a little solitude and being out there. So it's kind of like about how nature will provide, and give us the remedies that we're all seeking for, and it's right there. You just gotta walk outside and take it in.
Wow.
Not much more to it.
When I first heard that song, I want to personally thank you, because when I first heard that song, it completely changed my day.
Awesome.
Completely
Great.
changed my day.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't like grumpy or anything. I just really, that whole day was like, I have so many things to be thankful for, and we all do, right? We all. I mean, we're alive. The sun is out. We have plenty of food. We have clean water.
Yeah, totally.
We have amazing people in our lives.
Right,
the list goes on and on and on.
And the song, it says count your blessings.
Yeah.
It's important to do that, and every day, you get in routines or, have a list of things to do, and you just, focus on that when, it's good to take a moment, whether it's a little moment of prayer, a little moment of gratitude, just the little things, are sometimes give me the most. If I see a little butterfly or something, little caterpillar, like this song, when I made it, was kind of a turning point for me to start taking music a little more as a career and a little more seriously. And when I first made the song, I made it for my older sister, she's still sick. She's been sick for almost 9 years now with anything from hepatitis C, and now it's all the way to Lyme's disease and fibromyalgia. Who knows what in between? But
how old is your sister?
My sister, she's 9 years older than me. She's 35, and it was her birthday, and I made the song for her last year. And this gift that I gave her was kind of one of those unexpected gifts in return. And it was the first time I went to a producer who had the proper equipment and not just the garage band styles, which I've always been used to. It was the first time I heard my voice back and actually enjoyed it, and it took me a really long time to ever, like my voice personally over music and beats. And I've been making beats for a long time, since high school, for almost 10 years now. But as far as doing the song and doing it proper in a different environment with someone who has more experience than me, it changed my life and made me want to, fulfill this project that I'm here to share with you today. So,
which is your new album, Elevate.
Yeah, the album's titled Elevate, and yeah, it's all about elevating the world, you as an individual, your soul, the consciousness. And my background, I was lucky and fortunate to grow up in Fairfax, a little town in West Marin. It kind of got a big hippie vibe, but everyone's really conscious and aware out there. And
in Northern California.
Exactly.
We'll just say
exactly,
that.
Yeah, people get Fairfax mixed with Virginia a lot.
Yeah.
And it was just so naturally, my music comes out kind of just with my upbringing, and encourage people to rap about organic zucchinis.
Yes.
To expressing themselves in their own artistic way, whether it's painting, ceramics, or music. It's just to be yourself, and find love within yourself and express that with others. That's kind of the goal and the mission,
Which I know we're going to talk more about.
Yeah.
But I want to say that first of all, I'm a music lover. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I started a radio station.
Yeah.
And I normally am not much of a hip hop fan. I mean, I love hip hop and rap, but the majority of it, at least that I have been exposed to, it's very negative. It's just it's very about things that are egotistical, and it just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, totally.
And even though I appreciate the musical style, I'm not really drawn to it.
Right.
Like even conscious rap, I'm not really like. But what I loved about your stuff was it was very melodic, or it is very melodic.
Yeah.
And I'm a classically trained musician, and so I was like, wow, I like this.
Yeah,
I really like this. I like how it flows. I like the background music. I like.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I like how your voice flows on your album. So yeah, that's why I wanted to check it out.
That's really great to hear. I appreciate that. Musical background, I didn't really have much at all. I had a few piano lessons as a little kid and played drums for a long time, but as far as learning piano and the melodics of music, it was something that just naturally I just built on while I started making beats, and hip hop music and rap, I had that same sort of feeling. I was drawn to it and loved the feel of it, and loved how individualistic it is. Someone can really just be themselves all out, and kind of just it stands out there. But what I really enjoyed when I was growing up, some of the biggest names that caught me by attention was actually right out here in Berkeley, the Grouch and Living Legends, and all the way to Brother Ali, and I had influences of Tupac and stuff too. But certain songs, other ones didn't hit me as hard as hit the heart as strongly as others. But there's some beautiful gems out there too, and it's a different genre, and most of it, like you said, is kind of wrapped around egotistical, negative kind of connotations. So with my projects, I just wanted to flip all that. Flip it on them and try to have the similar delivery, but just the message is completely opposite,
Well, and I think one thing that compelled me when I watched your video was that I could see right away that you were a very pure spirit.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And I can see that now. I can see that just, being in the same room with you. I haven't experienced that before with hip hop.
Right.
I watch a lot of music videos and I love it. And it was really refreshing to see a purity in that musical style.
Cool.
And I think that's what kind of caught my attention for you, or with you. It was like,
yeah.
Whoa, I haven't seen this before. Like music's really awesome, but it was also really about your energy.
Yeah.
It was very different than what I'm used to seeing, even like with conscious hip hop artists. There's a little bit more ego and a little bit more like, what can I get out of this? And
yeah, that video was a fun day, and it was with my filmer Ben Gowan and his 2 kids, little Eli and Skylar, and they were like the production crew. So it was pretty much me and 2 kids, running around West Marin, visiting a local farm that I know of, and a couple creek spots, and we just had a great time, and like did a few takes, and it worked out really well. But having his little kid, Eli, he was the star of the video in there, and he's only 5, and so we're picking blackberries and stuff, and he's like, what is this? Still doesn't know like a lot of the beautiful things around us. And then Skylar was in the background trying to reflect the light in certain areas where it was kind of shady, and like it was just with a reflective piece of foam that we got at Home Depot.
Right?
So
yeah.
It was all like a low budget, piece, but Ben Gowan is he's a great videographer, and his equipment's great, and he's done a lot of editing and separate projects, and his background in movie business and things like that is pretty substantial. And
it's a beautiful video. Now, if people go to YouTube and they type in "Life is a Blessing," Soldoc, SOLDOC, will your video
it
come
should
up?
pop up. Yeah.
Okay, Life is a Blessing.
One of the top ones. Yeah.
Soldoc.
It's not a very common name, so if you type in Soldoc and it's space, it's SOL space DOC, and it'll definitely pop up.
So that brings me to my next question. So, how did you come to this name for your music, Soldoc? What was your inspiration to have this be your name, or did it come to you? What's your story around that?
It kind of it was interesting how it came to me, and like at first, what I wanted, like at first I liked Casual as the name because it's just like it's casual, it's like not too flashy, not nice and easy, and then I found out like Casual, he's a hip hop artist with hieroglyphics, and I was like, oh man, like that one's taken. Okay, so
next,
I just started writing Soldoc in my notebook one day, and I was like looking at it, and I enjoyed the balance of it, and like my background at University of Hawaii, where I went to school, it's all environmental studies with an emphasis on Hawaiian medicinal plants. And so the doc kind of comes short for doctor.
Oh, okay.
And then the soul, it's just SOL, so it's, in Spanish it means light, and in light it's like, you need the light of the earth to help things grow, energy you need, and, shedding the light to spread the seeds of consciousness as well. I was trying to think of that, and it could also mean, soul, like your soul as well. So it's a double meaning, I guess. But I wanted to spell it SOL with light. It's more balanced that way.
It fits you.
Yeah,
it suits you. Yeah.
And then Doc is just supplying people with the prescription, the remedies of, our everyday lives. Things go up and down. You never know what's going to hit you left or right. And, it's nice to hear some things that just like, people can relate to, or, I wanted the music to be inspiring for others, of course, but also engage the listener, and have that carry into whatever they're doing and cross over into their lives. So yeah,
and I would say that you've done that with your album. I haven't actually heard the entire album yet, but I've heard the 5 songs that you have on your MySpace page right now. Yeah. And first of all, again, I heard Life is a Blessing and immediately loved it, posted it on the Realms Radio Facebook page and all this stuff.
Cool.
and shared it with all my friends. And then I was surprised to hear the next song. Well, I wasn't surprised to hear it, but I was surprised at how it was really good. The Northern Cali Crone. I can see where you're influenced by Tupac in that song.
Right.
Yeah,
that's got a little bit more of the swag on the
album. It does.
If you will.
You even say that in the song.
Yeah. Exactly.
Say
that's part
swag.
of the hook. But yeah, that that was a beat that my buddy Justin made, and I was like, man, like, this is perfect. Like, I just started writing that song, and I mean, we're blessed here in Northern California, and just had to write a song about it. And, you know, the upbringing, the beautiful people, and there's kind of, you know, the meaning of it all is like there's a gold rush in 1848 when the Sutter Mill struck, you know, and so many people came out here, but just, you know, didn't strike gold. You know? Yeah. But instead, you know, we got a beautiful variety and diversity of people who just rushed California. So, you know, now California is what it is today, and it's just a big mix of cultures, and like I'm so thankful to have that and to see that all around. You know, like even just to fill the palate of going eating Thai food to, you know, Chinese food to Mexican food, it's all there. You know, it's like it's awesome. But yeah, you know, so I just kind of switched it. And, you know, the people are the gold. That was kind of the message in that song.
Wow.
And how, you know, California came to be.
It's so true, you know, no offense to everywhere else in the world, but California really has a very unique group of people, like just such a melting pot. And
it is.
And in that, everyone, in my experience, is so, more often than not, really in their heart.
Right.
Really in their heart space. And what a blessing it is to be living here.
Totally.
And you had
you had
the opportunity to grow up in that.
Yeah. So grateful. And, you know, Fairfax is only like 20 minutes away from the ocean. So a lot of the part of the song is just growing up and the activities that I got to partake in. Growing, you know, from skateboarding to snowboarding and surfing and, you know, like enjoying the rivers and the lakes around here. There's so much. California is such a beautiful state, and yeah, it takes, you know, a few lifetimes to really explore it all, you know.
Yeah. I know we talked a little bit about in the beginning what your mission is, why you're doing this, and I'd love to hear a little more about your mission behind the music.
Right.
Making great music and being creative is one thing, but what are some other things that you would like to portray, you know, or that is such an innate part of you that's why you're doing this?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I felt like music at the time where I am in my life was like a great stepping stone for like the bigger overall view that I have. And so the mission and the movement, you know, my love for medicinal plants and my education with that, like I really want to start like a medicinal tea company out in Hawaii, because that's where my training all was, and beautiful native plants out there that nobody's really using and utilizing, that, you know, offers stress relievers to things that will heal your coughs and you know, balance your head. Whole bunch of cool things that people aren't really using. And California is such a tea drinking state. It's like, you know, you know, hand in hand,
it's perfect.
But, you know, also to be aware of, you know, all the problems throughout the world, you know, and being able to support charities and everything. You know, it's definitely going to happen with any profits or proceeds that I get through this music. You know,
great.
It's going to be carefully, you know, contributed correctly to, you know, and I like to make a local impact and also more of a broader impact. So, you know, think locally, think globally, like sort of mindset. You know, I think you gotta kind of have your hand in both. And so I wanted to help like the local bees around here. And, you know, the bees do so much and supply like us with more than like 80% of our food. So, you know, they've been having trouble lately. So, you know, the bees was a big thing, and also like my love for the ocean, the waves, you know, anything to kind of clean up the ocean. Surfrider Foundation I've been looking into, and a couple other ones, but I'm doing extensive research to make sure it's applied correctly. You know, and I don't have deep pockets by any means, so, you know, not yet. But as these stepping stones are made, and, you know, people are finding, you know, that they want to support this and support the cause, you know, from cleaning up the ocean to maybe basic things of, you know, getting clean water to villages in Africa that need it. You know, just like if I could go into Africa and like throw some shows over there and like, you know, just charitable events and throw it right there and dig a well and boom, I connect with the people, you know, like those are things that I see happening like later down, you know, the road.
And I think that's maybe one thing that I saw in you is that there was just such a light, such a desire to want to help. You know, just like you were saying, like, you know, the proceeds from this album are going to go to something somewhere. Yeah. And that's so great. I think that's very rare in our world.
Right.
Not to make you feel special or like you're above anyone.
I'm not special by any means.
But it's that's so admirable. That's so admirable that you're, you know, remembering that there's so much more to you, and it really, to me, I think, well, maybe another thing that I feel from you is that you're not attached to being, you know, this persona or something. Like you're you, and you want to help the planet, and you want to help awaken people.
Totally. And you know, I think there's a lot of people who have, you know, similar views of wanting to help and share with others. And you know, what a lot of people don't realize, I think, is like a lot of it just starts right there with your intentions. And like that's, you know, going back to the basics, you know, like maybe going in the garden and like helping, you know, some neighborhood community garden or something, you know, lending just a little hand like that, you know, and, you know, harvesting together and eating together. Like these are beautiful things that, you know, people tend to forget. And like going back to the basics, you know, like back to the finger paints, you know, and just like, you know, I think that's really important, and that we've gotten, you know, lost touch with. So I think a lot of people are there and hold similar ideas, but don't know where to go with it, you know. And this is my first stepping stone I made to take my, you know, project and take it serious and finish this album to be able to share with others. And like, you know, that was like, things are starting to clear up for me, you know. And so it's just one step at a time, you know, but every step on the way is important, you know. But like anyone says, it doesn't really matter like where you end up, it's the journey, you know. That counts.
So how long did it take for you to create this album?
That's a good question. Well, while I was making the album, I had maybe like 5 or 6 songs pretty much all written out and done. And in the midst of making the project, I had so much inspiration, like at the moment, that I was cranking out, you know, a couple songs a day at one point to just, you know, one a week or every other week. And so it got to the point where I created 15 tracks, and I'm leaving a few off, little gems for later on. But this album has 12 tracks on it, and did a, you know, a little interlude, a little introduction, and, you know, a few other things to kind of make it feel a little more wholesome and complete. And some of the you know, like you said, like how a lot of rap is like a lot of ego and stuff like that. Some of the title tracks on here you'll see is like, it's like no competition, and like, you know, not to be cliche, but like life is a blessing, like, you know, it really is. And so like it's important to, you know, come back to that and appreciate, you know, just waking up in the morning and seeing the sun, you know. And, you know, another song called Crossroads, which is like, we all reach, you know, those crossroads where we're just like, oh, like, you know, what to do, right? And, you know, like Ego Slip is one of my favorite songs that I wrote, and that's all about letting the ego go. And, you know, current situations, political ones that we have right now, you know, everything with the bank systems and things like that, you know, like, I don't think all the bankers all had, you know, bad intentions with it. You know, some of them are good people, but they just let their ego slip, you know what I mean? They just lost it for a minute. And, you know, like, part of the message in that song is like realizing that like it's a daily task, you know, to let the ego go, you know. It's always kind of going in waves up and down, you know, like so you know, it's a daily practice, you know, to get there. And like, you know, another track, Right to Spread the Light, so that kind of reverbs back to the name of Soul and like Soul Doc. And so like, you know, writing to uplift in that sense. And yeah, you know, I put a little love song in there. Just had to like throw in my personal experience. You know, it's an everyday thing that people go through.
Right.
And, you know, they are where they are. And I wrote that song for my girlfriend at the time, my ex, I should say, several years back. And then I kind of made it a full circle and wrote a third verse to kind of close everything in, and I shared it with her, and she was like, she was stoked about it, and, adding a little humor in there and things like that, but like, things are all good.
I really like the I forget what it's called, the Mama song.
Yeah, that's Mama's Blues.
Yeah.
That's
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album. So the creation of that was my mom. Like, she used to play piano, but not too much anymore. But she always had two songs that she always, nailed. She never forgot these two.
Yeah.
And one was a nice classical song, and the other one was this nice blues song. And I was like, I loved it when my mom played this song. I heard it since I was 5, growing up all the time. It was just one of those, like, kind of, it's like comfort food, you hear that song, like, you feel good inside, I was like, Mom was playing the piano again. I'm like, all right. And so, one day I was just like, Mom, like, I want to sit down. I want to learn this with you right now. And so she taught me how to play it. I learned the beat. And then I went into my little studio and made a beat with it, a hip hop beat using that, and I was writing this song for her. I had to make a song like for Mama. It's like a Tupac, like Dear Mama song. I'm trying to bring the Dear Mama song back, right?
Yeah.
This is like the Big Up Mama song, and when I was making it in the studio, we actually called her up and we're like, Ma, like, come to the studio for a sec, and she's like, what? Like, what for? And I'm like, just come on, and we get her in there and I'm like, Mom, like, I want you to play the riff, nothing's gonna be better than you actually playing it. So she came in and she, it was funny. I have a little interlude talking about the making of the song on this album, but she's just like, on a keyboard, she's like, I don't know how to play keyboard. I'm like, Mom, it's the same thing as a piano. Like, come on. So she sits down and does it. So it's actually my mom playing the keys during the hook, and then when it, and then I made the rest like during the verses and stuff. So that was, she walked in when I was halfway through of the song. I was trying to keep it as a surprise and like surprise her with it, but she's like, Jared, like, what's going on, Jared? I'm like, oh, nothing. And like, she could recognize the song, obviously. So I was like, all right, I'm busted. Like, I'm writing a song for you, and she's like, oh, like, I want to hear it, She's like, you never know what happens to me tomorrow, I'm like, come on, Mom, like, don't say that, but, so, like, I showed her what I had at the moment and finished it up, and, it was a pleasure. Like, my mom's an incredible lady. Anyone who comes in contact with her, like, years down the line, I just, that's the first thing they ask me half the time. Like, oh, hey, Jay, how you doing? How's your mom? I'm like, she's doing great. Like, thank you for asking. She's such a sweetheart, but really knows how to touch and impact people's lives. I don't know how I'm ever gonna live up to her standards.
Well, I think you're on a good track.
I'm on the track.
You're doing something. You're creating something that is available for other people to be inspired by.
Yeah.
And you're creating a legacy.
Right on.
Your legacy.
I wouldn't be able to do it without her. Both my parents. But
yeah. What? So you talked a little bit about these tracks on this album, about like some of the inspiration behind each of the tracks, and just really behind your mission in general. If you could put that into like one sentence, or maybe two, we'll say two. If you could put what you want people to take away from listening to this music into a couple sentences.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Man, that's a tough one. I guess, I want to inspire, promote health and wellness through good vibes and music. And I don't know. I think that might be it in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. You said it in one sentence. And so where can people hear your album? Where can people buy your album?
If you want to just get a little taste, you could go on to Reverb Nation and look up Soul Doc on that, and I have all the tracks on there. You could stream them live. You could also check out the video if you want to just hear "Life Is a Blessing" and get a feel for it, and
highly recommend it.
See what the artist is like and about. But it's going to be available on iTunes and CD Baby and numerous other manufacturers. And also I'm having a big show to kick off, album release party in Fairfax if you're local around here, if you're in Berkeley or something. But yeah, it's at 19 and Broadway. And I'm actually doing this show with Casual, out of all people. From Hieroglyphics.
Wow.
And he has an album that he's releasing as well, a single album. So
wow.
It's kind of funny how things...
cosmically aligned.
Yeah, cosmically aligned, exactly. And yeah, so it's going to be a double album release party. And I'm working with the live band. And their name is Me Gone. It's MIGAAN. It's kind of like Patois slang for, I'm gone. Like
me gone.
Me gone. Yeah, me gone. But they're incredible musicians. Two of them, Jeremy and Justin, I grew up with, right across the creek pretty much. Jeremy was right over the hill. And the guitar player is my good friend Kevin. And, I met him going to UH or Hawaii. So it's funny how connections were made, and, now we're here. And they're an amazing band. They do a lot of side projects. They're kicking off Norseman's next album, and they have a lot of things going on too. But playing live music with them too, so it should be a rocking show. We're getting it down. And my good friend Hobie Owen is playing the keys, and his dad's like a classic local musician in Fairfax who's been doing his own show there for years. I don't know how long, but yeah. So Hobie, he's the keyboarder, laying down the keys for us.
Cool.
But,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to make it.
Yeah,
I hope to make it.
Yeah. and yeah, I'm making some T-shirts and stuff. I'll have some like merchandise for people to purchase, and trying to get the name out there as best I can through music, and also through clothing companies, ideas.
Sorry to cut you off. I just realized you're wearing your shirt.
Yeah.
It says Soul Doc.
Yeah.
Elevate has your emblem.
Yeah.
and on the sleeve it says Ego Slip, which is
Yeah.
a song that we just talked about a little bit.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
And I never wear this T-shirt. I just wore it for the interview.
Yeah.
And the back's got a little cool little wave on it.
It says Soul Doc.
Yeah.
Right now I wish this was a TV show so that other people can see. But that's okay. It's not. That's great.
But yeah, it's American apparel. It's really nice clothing.
That's great.
And yeah, my friend Jamal did this mandala sort of thing. And that's on the physical CD.
Where can people go to see this mandala? Because this is really neat. Where can they?
Yeah,
is this on your website?
Yeah, you'll be able to check this out on my website, souldocmusic.com.
Okay.
And that's under construction, but it'll be up and running at the end of the month or next month. And
yeah.
I want people to be able to see it, but. If you want to get it now, you got to come to the shows.
For sure. I'm sure people will be able to buy these at some point online.
Yeah, definitely.
Do something
It'll
like that.
It'll all be available. Yeah.
Wow. So how does this all feel to have been putting really your heart and soul into creating this album, now having it finished, now doing things like T-shirts and record release parties?
Yeah.
Like, how does that all feel for you?
It's crazy, man. I didn't know this was gonna happen or plan on this happening. It's kind of all just placed together, and it feels great. Like making an album. I didn't realize that at first, but it takes like a lot of energy and time.
I can imagine.
Like by the end of it, I was just like, whoa, like this is,
ready for a break.
Yeah, it's wearing me down right now. But it was, I'm a novice as well. This is my first project, and like, the co-producer I was working with, Ben Crames, it was nice to hear what he had to say, and he acknowledged, he was trained at Berkeley School of Music, and he was impressed with my musical ear, and was surprised I didn't have any training, but he was also really impressed with like the vocal takes, and like there's not 50 slashes put together to make one. It's pretty much everything is one track, one take.
Wow.
Tracks, so we try to keep it as organic as possible, not like overproduce things, and give the people the feel of like that moment right there and then. So,
and that's one thing I think that I also really got from listening to your music is, I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but it's really good. It's really, it's good. It's really good music.
Yeah, thanks.
And yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And like every single song that I was listening to, I was like, wow, this is another great song. Okay, wow, this is another great song. Wow, I really like that song.
Right.
And that doesn't really happen a lot. Usually it's like, I like one or maybe two songs, and the rest are like, like
you're always
filler.
stoked when you get an album that's just like, a good song after a good song. Yeah.
Yeah, but every single thing that I've heard from you is great.
Yeah,
it's like,
thanks.
it's really good.
Yeah.
And I was actually really impressed with the production.
Yeah.
I thought the production was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, Ben
really
Crims he's great. He really knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was a pleasure to work with him, and I had pretty much like 95% of the songs made when I brought it into him, but with his experience, and fattening up the drums here or there, or putting in a little trill or a little violin, a couple extra little notes to kind of feel a little bit, not so continuous, not so repetitive. So he brought a great aspect to the project. Yeah.
And not that I pick favorites, but I have to say I always come back to Life is a Blessing.
Yeah.
It's such a
cool.
It's such a beautiful song. It's so, and I'd love to hear more. I know you said you wrote that initially about your sister, and she was having a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of health issues.
Right.
And so, did you write this for her, or did you write this from her perspective, or what? Like,
yeah, I pretty much wrote it for her initially, and it had been a song I kind of thought about and touched on a little bit, and it'd been like 8 years my sister had been like continuously sick and not getting better, and I was like, man, like this needs to happen for her, and so I made it for her, and like that was it was a gift. It was, the intentions was to give her a gift, and because mentally at that point it's really hard to cope with everything. I can't imagine being sick that long, so I just saw her like mentally stressing out, and just when am I going to get better? Like doctors say it's this, and then it's this, and then it's this, and it's like, man, like it's heartbreaking to see, but but she's got a great family. We're all there to support her, and this was just a little added bonus for her birthday, and she was excited, and her name's Renee Stevenson, and she's beautiful individual, one of the most thoughtful people I know, and she totally wants to take part in this project, and like she's now my like manager.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's sick. She can't go out too often. So she's like, I'd love to help out. Like I'm at home, and like
she can make phone calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she's doing a lot of the networking for me and looking into things, and just it's cool to have like family support around me, and like
Yeah. What did she think of the song when she heard it?
Yeah, she loved it. It was really nice to see. She told me she couldn't stop playing it for a couple weeks, and
aww.
It was nice. Yeah, I was stoked that it touched her, and that she understood what the song was about, and it's a rough road sometimes, so it's a song to kind of keep people on their path, inspire them not to give up, and a lot of my music is really about like following your passions and your dreams, like no matter what it is. If you don't want to sit in a cubicle 9 to 5, like don't do it. Like you could do so many other things out there. We all have a choice of how we want to live our lives, and you get to make that choice. So it's a good reminder. Sometimes people need to, hear that reminder from time to time. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will say that would be me. You're talking to me right here because, I have definitely been a person that makes his creative dreams real, and that's
right.
I'm did that with the radio station and lots of other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I graduated, I went straight into a solar job. I was working for a solar company for almost 3 years, and that was very fulfilling for me. And putting up photovoltaic everywhere, and it was a fun job. You're always on the roof. You get good views. Get
a nice tan.
Yeah, get a nice tan, and and it was fun. I felt like I was outside the whole time. And doing physical labor that was, enjoyable, but, 3 years go down the line, I was still enjoying it, but there was, a part of me that just, was am I really ready to be fully committed, on this task right now? And so I stepped back and focused on music for a little bit and tried to just, give myself a little bit of space and time to think things over, and did some, surf trips, a little bit of small little traveling and stuff. And, that was kind of, it just propelled everything a little bit more. And yeah, so in the CD, it's kind of looks like my wallet. It's kind of like
it does kind of look like a wallet.
Yeah, it's it's really
right.
homey organic style.
Homey organic style.
Yeah, a really good friend, Jacqueline, made that, and she was a stranger that I met in the Tetons when I was visiting my friends out there at the Tetons. Yeah, and I just met her at the top of this glacier lake. Yeah, it was a wild story how, people come into your lives sometimes. We chatted for literally, 10 minutes, and I had to fly down the hill and go play a soccer game. And, she came through California when she moved up to Oregon, and I was excited to share this project with someone. So I gave her a copy before any of this was made. And by the time she got up to Oregon, she's just like, Jeremy, I listened to this 10 times. I can't stop. I want to do everything for you, for your artwork. And I was like, really? That's awesome. Let's do it, And so she was just, a blessing that walked into my life, And yeah, it's cool how things work out.
And see, that to me just confirms that this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Or this is one thing.
Yeah.
This is
but
something
right now,
that wants to happen.
Where the ball's rolling and everything, yeah, this is right where I'm supposed to be. And yeah, I mean, she did a great job. The CD looks great. It's an investment, to get all these made. But on the inside, there's an individual piece of artwork that it's just from a watercolor that I did.
Ooh, so you painted this?
Yeah, I painted that.
Is there a way for people to see this online?
Yeah, I'll be up on my website too.
Okay.
I'm just throwing up my artwork and have my own little gallery.
Love
up there,
it.
It's just for people to see and enjoy. But
how great! This is such a. This is. I think this is one reason why I like you. It's just because you're so real. You're just this is me. Love that you put the picture that you painted as a back, as a little piece of artwork in your CD. It's it's so you.
Right. Cool.
And I haven't known you that long, but even your music and just this, it feels like it's you.
Right.
You know?
It was, designing your product is a funny thing, and I have a lot of Buddhist sort of thinking, how I was raised and grown up, and that's just what I love reading about, and non-attachments. And so part of me was oh, I just gotta let this go and not take too much into what it's gonna look like, and luckily she just nailed it. This is awesome. This is perfect taste of what I wanted, and on the back side of that art piece is a photograph of one of my notebooks. And it kind of has clues you into the next project titled March to Greatness. And that's going to be on its way as well. But this whole thing, everything that's happened the last 6 months, I've been writing a lot.
Ooh, I'm looking on the back of this sleeve in your CD, and it says pave the way a better day. Yeah.
Yeah, pave the way for better days.
Pave the way for better days, yeah.
And I didn't even pay
March
attention to what that said. I was just
Oh,
kind of stoked on the
you
wave. It was a little wave drawing that I put in there, and then I was like, oh yeah, those are some nice words actually. So it worked out.
It's nice. It's nice. I like it.
And then just
Like it.
a little small thank you always goes in with the album. So any support or anything is
Yeah.
much appreciated, and super grateful just to share this with people. And
Yeah.
and music should be free too, I feel like, and this is like a project that I put in a lot of time and effort and trying to create and build up my own dreams. But throughout this next year and stuff, there's going to be a lot of free mixtapes and stuff that we're going to be creating. You constantly keep up on the website, 'cause there might be another free song up there,
some of those
once a month or every other month, so.
Some of those gems that you
gotta
didn't
keep
put on the
hitting,
album, you're gonna
exactly.
get those nice and complete and available.
Give it out to people.
That's great. And I think that's such a beautiful way to live is to give something for free. It's like, I definitely believe it is important to take care of yourself financially and make a living, but it's also important to give back and do what you love and give that for free.
Totally.
So other people can experience it.
When I first made this project, I wanted to make a point of exactly that what you're talking about, and wanted to give away like 50%, and like 50-50, like let's make everything equal, but like looking into the laws and everything about it, like you're not even allowed to do that. Like you're only allowed to give up to, I think, 20% of profits, and that's why you see on the back of labels of tea companies or something, 15%, or it's never over 20%, like ever. So it's, that's why, and so they keep a tab. So I think soon down the line I might start a Soul Doc nonprofit foundation, so that way I could dump more proceeds than just what I want to into that will go away. So and also it's important to not expend yourself too fast. I want to do so much so fast, but it's
right,
you got to fill your own cup and then start flowing, and that's when you really be able to give as much as possible and as much as you really want to, and that goes for just yourself and loving yourself in general. That's just something that everybody needs to learn how to do, love themselves until that love is overflowing, and then it's boom, hit everybody with it, so it's all along the same lines, but I wish money didn't exist. I'd much rather be trading, tea and bananas and, keeping it rustic, but,
we're on our way.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Watch the movie Thrive if you haven't seen it, listeners. That'll help you to do that. But yeah, we're on our way. It's just we're in this place of that. What occurred to me as you were speaking that I really need to share is that you're so much more than an artist. You're a humanist.
Right on.
It's you are an artist, and there's all these other things that you are, but really what you are is you're a humanitarian. You're someone who believes in humanity, and music is one way that you can access reach out, give of yourself. But there's all these other ways, and you want to do all this other stuff. Yeah, that might involve music. Yeah, but it's not solely about that, and that's what's so inspiring to me.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until I started thinking about it a little more, that music was just a great way to reach a lot of people. People love music and constantly looking for new music and stuff. So I thought it'd be a great way to kind of get out there. If I can make a way to get out there, music's probably one of the best outlets to possibly do it. And also with music and stuff too, and people think about so much about oh, am I gonna make it big? Am I gonna succeed in this and that? And I just let all that go and just let the people decide, and that's really where it's at, and just the people will make the choice. It's totally out of your hands, but if you put your heart and soul into something, into a project, bless you for doing that and sharing it with others, and it's kind of where it's at. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, cool. Absolutely. I love some pop probably Madonna or someone that I was watching like what is their secret to success, and they were like prayer and hard work. And I'm like, that's true. Like you just pray, you get in touch spiritually, and you just work hard.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No,
that makes sense, and it sounds to me that's
totally
kind of
correct.
what you did.
Yeah.
Put the pedal to the
right
metal.
on the same page. Yeah. One thing while I was making this project that I kept in mind was like the message was first and foremost, but also the music and like the style of it. Like I kind of wanted it to have like almost a similar style as like, you know, like Tupac or Common or something. You know, even those thugs and gangsters out there who are gangbanging or doing whatever, like they might be bumping this and like
right.
stoked on it, you know, like
life is a blessing.
Yeah, it's like damn, like like rock that, you know, like I want to hear those, and you're like, you know, in the big subs, you know.
And I think that's another thing maybe that I picked up on, because when I first heard your songs, I was thinking, wow, it's different. It's really refreshing, because I'd always wanted to like that music.
Yeah.
You know, like I always appreciated it musically.
Right.
Always, but I just couldn't listen to it because it was so harsh.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Tupac though. Like I love like, you know,
certain people, you know, you know, one of the main things that like anybody will tell you if you're an artist of music to painting, like you'll always be successful if you just really reflect like your soul and your heart.
So
you know?
true.
Like, no matter what.
So true.
Even if it's all out of tune and you're pouring your heart out into it, like people are gonna like it, you know.
Yeah.
And, like when that comes across, like that's, you know, people can tell. That's where it comes from. If it comes from the heart, it's gonna hit the heart. Mm-hmm. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that. That sounds like a line in one of your songs. If it comes from the heart, it's gonna hit the heart.
Yeah, it just came out.
Like most of your stuff probably does. I would imagine.
Yeah, a lot of my writing always seems to take place in the morning for some reason. Don't know why, but I think it's kind of being in that place of, you know, being grateful of where I'm at that moment, you know. Sometimes it's when I'm in the car driving somewhere, going to surf or something. I'm like, oh man, like I gotta pull over real quick, like write this down, you know, like I don't want to be the crazy driver trying to do 3 different things at once.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So what's next for Soul Doc? You know, I know you're probably going to be promoting this. I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, like I got a rockin' live band behind me, and you know they're here to fully support my music and the mission as well. And like I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone but them. Like they're such a good group of people. You know, we got some glue. You know, that's just you know, you hear a lot of bands fighting. It's like none of that happening with us. So you know, I'm hoping to take this, you know, all throughout California, throughout the summer into the fall, and really trying to branch out as much as I can. And if I can't make it possible to bring the band over to like, you know, the Midwest or New York or something, you know. Luckily, like hip hop is something that you could do, you know, with just a DJ and a microphone. You know, there's a beauty about that too, and so, you know, and you get to hear the original melodics of everything as well. So, yeah, that's the mission. It's just to go out and play shows and, you know, start to build up the movement. You know, and I'm working on the next project soon too, so won't keep you waiting for too long. But you know, it's all coming together. But,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, big part of me wants to go branch out of the United States a little bit. You know, people here tend to judge and criticize a little more harshly than other places, I feel like. You know, but, you know, a big part of me maybe wants to go to Japan or like countries that are kind of like have been taking recent hits, you know, and like need a little help and like do some live shows over there, like throw some money towards their charities and help build up schools or whatnot, you know, wherever they need help, you know. So a big part of me might, you know, after I hit California, you know, might branch out, you know, into the third world countries or out of the United States for a little bit and, you know, see a little bit more. And I know I'll get inspiration and, you know, along those type of journeys as well. So not really sure. It's all up in the air. But if you want to book me, souldocmusic@gmail.com.
I loved that you said that it was a movement.
Yeah, totally.
I love that you said that it was a movement because
I mean, I want to, like you said, like leave a legacy. I want to like leave something that keeps going after this, and whether it inspires individuals to create, you know, similar types of music or similar, you know, sort of things, but to have the message, you know, carry on well past my lifetime, and hopefully, you know, 20 generations over that. You know, who knows, but just want to get it out there. And yeah, it's about a movement. It's not about the music entirely to say, but
the music's a big part of it.
Music's a big part of it, to reach out and for people to, you know, to be engaged and understand like what this is all about. And you know, a lot of it is just universal messages out there, and you know, promoting unity and love and following your dreams. And I feel like everybody, you know, reaches those crossroads that they need, and there's like, you know, maybe you know, a couple of these songs will help someone from making a big decision, you know, and steer them in the right path. You know, that will make my day. You know, that will make that whole project, the whole movement, you know, complete to me. You know, and you know, my ambitions are huge and big, but it's like one thing at a time, and you know, I'm not trying to rush anything. Just take things as they come, and
count your blessings.
Yeah, count your blessings, and put my faith and trust, and you know, into everything around me. And so, yeah.
Wow. Well, it was such a pleasure to get to know you and to have you here today, really exploring the mission behind your music.
Yeah,
and it was it was really, really inspiring to hear that, and to just see you a little more and hear about you a little more. I know there's not a doubt in my mind that you're going to be successful, or whatever that is to you, quote unquote successful. But yes, and so
thank you so much, and like, you know, taking the time to interview me, and you know, this time right now, it's like, you know, I'm really grateful for that. And you know, it's another little, you know, step along the way that, you know, I'm really grateful to be here and to be on the show. So, yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for listening to us this hour on Realms of Healing, where we bring you hope and healing, practical to mystical, from all different kinds of lifestyles and perspectives and people. So blessings and namaste, and remember, it's all perfect.
Don't be afraid when the sky is going gray. Don't lose faith, those clouds will drift away. Let the sun shine on through. Let the sun shine on through. Let the sun shine on through. Let the sun shine on you. Come on out and shine.
Realms Radio, where spirit rocks. Would you like to receive empowerment, help, and healing from heaven and the angelic realms? Schedule your one-on-one intuitive reading with me, Tana Newberry, the Angel Gal, and hear from all of your heavenly helpers and loved ones in spirit. Whether you're seeking guidance about your career, your love life, your life purpose, or anything else that can bring you more peace and more joy, I am happy to help. Learn more about my services and how to receive a free consultation at my website, www.theangelgal.com, right here on Realms Radio.